Stop scrolling. You need to see this. For the first time in years, the global elite in Munich just did the unthinkable. Look at the room. This isn't just polite applause. It is a total shift in the geopolitical vibe. One man just walked into the Lion's Den and got a standing ovation for a message that usually gets you canceled.
Are proud of their culture and of their heritage, who understand that we are heirs to the same great and noble civilization, and who together with us are willing and able to defend it. And this is why we do not want allies to rationalize the broken status quo, rather than reckon with what is necessary to fix it. For we in America have no interest in being polite and orderly caretakers.
Wait, did you catch that specific phrasing? He mentioned managed decline. That is a massive signal to the leaders sitting in that room. If you look at the faces in the crowd during the wide shots, you can see the visible tension. For decades, the vibe at these summits has been about global citizenship. But here he is, essentially telling them that the era of apologizing for Western heritage is over. It's wild to hear this kind of talk in Munich, of all places. Usually, this room is the epicenter of polite bureaucratic consensus. But notice how he doesn't stutter once. He is basically telling the most powerful people in Europe that their current trajectory is a choice, not an inevitability. It's like watching someone flip the script in real time. This isn't just a political speech. It's a direct challenge to the last 30 years of international policy. You can almost feel the air leave the room when he mentions being heirs to a noble civilization.
You are starting to see the ascent of the right, even in places like Munich. Marco Rubio's speech was a pure appeal to Western culture. My favorite part was when he said that American cowboys came from Spain.
I thought they came from Winnetou, but
I believe the Mexicans and descendants of African enslaved peoples would like to have a word on that. Culture is changing. Culture always changed. Culture, for the entire history of human civilization, has been a fluid, evolving thing that is a response to the conditions that we live in. And so they want to take this mantle of culture. At the end of the day, though, it is very thin. And so the response that we have to have is, again, it's material, it's class-based, it's common interest. There was certainly more open.
Okay, let's break down what just happened there. Look at the terminology she's using. Class-based internationalism. That is a very specific, high-level academic pivot. She's trying to counter the cultural argument with a material one. But notice her reaction to the Spanish cowboy comment. She's leaning hard into the idea that culture is fluid and evolving to undermine the heritage argument we just heard. It's a fascinating contrast. You've got one side arguing for rooted traditions and another arguing that the roots themselves are constantly moving. Did you see the slight smirk when she mentions the global South? She's signaling to a completely different audience than the one in Munich. It's a chess match of definitions. While the first speaker is trying to build a wall around a specific identity, she's trying to dissolve that wall entirely by focusing on material interests. It's actually quite a sophisticated way to dodge the cultural pride argument without attacking it head-on.
To appease a climate cult, we have imposed energy policies on ourselves that are impoverishing our people, even as our competitors exploit oil and coal and natural gas and anything else, not just to power their economies, but to use as leverage against our own. And in a pursuit of a world without borders, we opened our doors to an unprecedented wave of mass migration that threatens the cohesion of our societies, the continuity of our culture, and the future of our people. Under President Trump, the United States of America will once again take on the task of renewal and restoration, driven by a vision of a future as proud, as sovereign, and as vital as our civilization's past.
Now this is where the gloves really come off. Pay attention to the part about climate cults and energy. That is a direct jab at the domestic policies of almost every country represented in that audience. He's essentially accusing them of self-sabotage. Look at how he connects the dots between energy poverty at home and the leverage given to adversaries abroad. It's a brutal reality check. And then he pivots straight to the border issue. He's framing mass migration not as a humanitarian debate, but as a threat to societal cohesion. That is a high-stakes move in a European setting where these topics are incredibly sensitive right now. You can tell he's not there to make friends or play by the rules-based order that he explicitly calls out. He's basically saying the old rules are the reason everything is breaking. It's a burn the ships moment for American diplomacy, signaling that the focus has shifted entirely to sovereign survival over global cooperation.
Represented in this room has become dependent on arrangements we did not choose, and right now, arrangements that we cannot control. We all face the same vulnerability: access to the things that protect our people and sustain our way of life. Everything from missile defense systems to energy infrastructure to advanced manufacturing to emerging technologies. The fundamental supply chains that support these industries sometimes can vanish in the blink of an eye without any control or influence from the...
Check out the focus on vulnerability here. This is the practical side of the sovereignty argument. When he talks about supply chains vanishing in the blink of an eye, he's not being hyperbolic. He's talking about the raw materials that actually make the high-tech world function: missiles, chips, all of it. Look at the way the room is actually paying attention here. This isn't the rah-rah part of the speech. It's the "we are in trouble" part. He's pointing out that while everyone was arguing about ideology, they gave away the keys to the factory. The realization that you can't control your own defense systems because you don't control the minerals is a terrifying thought for any head of state. It's a move toward resource realism. He's basically telling them that if they don't have the minerals, they don't have a country. It's the under-the-hood look at why the political rhetoric is shifting so aggressively toward domestic production and away from global reliance. Things are moving fast. If you want to stay ahead of the next major shift, hit that follow button and drop a comment below. Are we seeing the end of the globalist era or just a temporary pivot? Let's talk.